Hi everyone, this is Dr. S.M. Baggio, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Dr. S.N.S. Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. Today, I have the pleasure of presenting on a timeless work of literary criticism, Dr. Samuel Johnson's Preface to Shakespeare. This remarkable defense not only cemented Shakespeare's place as England's national poet, but also revolutionized the way we approach literature itself. Let us begin with the world Shakespeare was born into. The Elizabethan Era, spanning 1558 to 1603, was a golden age of English culture. There was a political stability, artistic growth, and a flowering of theatre. Public theatres attracted diverse audience and literary creatives surged. It was in the fertile ground that Shakespeare emerged, crafting stories that would outlive his time. Fast forward to 18th century, the age of enlightenment, when Dr. Samuel Johnson wrote his preface to Shakespeare. This was a time that valued author rationality and classical rule in literature. Critics followed neoclassical principles, immersing unity, decorum, and moral instruction. Shakespeare, with his imagination freedom, seems to many like a rebel against this order. But Johnson was something deeper. He called Shakespeare the poet of nature. Why? Because Shakespeare didn't just write plays, he reflected life itself. With all its complexity, flaws, contradiction, and truth, his character aren't perfect models. They are real people, rich with emotion, motivation, and inner struggles. Johnson admired his ability to portray universal truth, what it means to be human. Realism over rules. Addressing the flaws. Now, Johnson did acknowledge Shakespeare's flaws, with earlier critics were quick to point out. But instead of condemning them, he explained and defended them. For example, Shakespeare broke the classical unities of time, place, and action. Johnson said this gave him more dramatic freedom. He mixed comedy and tragedy, which critics dislike. Johnson argued is mirrored real life with is rarely just one or the other. He didn't always teach moral lessons, but Johnson believed that truth in presentation was more powerful than forced morality. Shakespeare Universal Appeal. One of Johnson's most visionary insight was Shakespeare's universe relevance. Whether it's love, jealousy, ambition, or betrayal, Shakespeare's theme transcends time and culture. Even today, his works are adapted across film, theatre, and literature, proving their endless flexibility. Johnson essentially foresaw what we now take for granted, that Shakespeare's stories are full of generations and all nations. Johnson's preface to Shakespeare did more just defend a playwright. It became a foundational document in literary criticism. He shifted the lens from grid classical rules to a more humanistic appreciation of literature. His ideas encouraged future critics to look at characters, psychology, and social context instead of structure and form. In conclusion, Dr. Johnson's defense was more than a critic, it was a vindication. He showed that Shakespeare's genius lies not in perfect plots or polished language, but in his deep understanding of human nature. Thanks to Johnson, the world began to see Shakespeare not just a dramatic of his time, but as an immortal band whose words speak us today, even this time. So, the Dr. Johnson's work itself proves great literature doesn't always follow rules, but it always tells the truth about the human experience. That is why Shakespeare endures, and this is why Shakespeare's preface still matters. Thank you.